Before, my career was scenic art. Before I got married and everything, I worked and traveled around quite a bit in the Midwest at different theaters, painting for shows. And then I got married. We moved to Chicago. So then I didn't have a specific job, so I tried to do personal artwork, paintings and drawings, and show them and try and get into like galleries and stuff like that. So I had a studio space. Basically, that's what I was doing when I got pregnant with you. I was always trying to capture an inner voice or a story. And so I was just capturing what it felt like to be pregnant, on the cusp of motherhood, all that kind of stuff. The materials changed, of course, because I didn't do oil painting and, it was more like toxic safety. I did more drawing, more watercolor. I don't think my style changed, just the subject. Whatever I'm experiencing, I draw or paint or express. Well, as you know, I was adopted, right? So my biggest fear was not bonding with the baby. It was really existential, especially having not had anybody look like me. So that's where a lot of the drawings of 4 eyeballs, or there's a lot of doubles, started to come in. Just kind of like another person, another me from this place. This is what my expectations were. It was still very selfish. It was like all these weird things about being adopted and identity and self and who I am are all going to be answered with this DNA connection of a baby, of a child that's like mine. Towards the end, there's something called nesting, and that's when I started to get kind of excited and really just like clearing the way for the baby. I felt like intense love for everything, like for my birth parents, my adopted parents, Alan, everything. It was just kind of like all wound up into this kind of cool new role. My art changed when I was with you guys, which was good too. Like I just incorporated you into my art, like being the art mom at preschool. That was how I could make art and be a mom. Because art really takes a lot of time, like a chunk of time, to do your own like really thorough thinking. And I didn't really have time for that, but I was still creative. People always thought my art was whimsical, which I always hated those descriptions, like cartoony and whimsical, because I used a lot of bright colors. But sometimes if you look a little deeper, they would be like kind of dark themes. Like I have like this intense love of life and mystery and all that stuff, but it's all based on some kind of, harsher things. Lots of layers. A lot of my work has a lot of layers to it. Well, and then also because my mother got sick, so there was a lot about that. Like when she had Alzheimer's, there was a lot about that, being the caregiver and being in between. That was a hard part of my life. Like my 40s was very difficult when I was stuck in between you guys. Wasn't doing very much art. I felt like I was really losing what I wanted to be doing. What I was living through was taking care of 2 little girls and my Alzheimer's mother, right? So the medium for that time in my life was a children's book, and how to explain this like horrible disease to children while still being present for you guys and being present for her, so that's where What's Your Name Again came about. And so that was really the children's book that I wanted to share, which is really not just children's book. It was actually really my art at the time. I was mother and daughter, that's what I was. I was not really myself. I like to call it billable hours for my art. Like even when you're not just pen to paper or paintbrush to canvas, you're still seeing the world as an artist and you're taking it all in and you're gonna use that someday. And so now I have time and space and the will, and I'm painting like crazy and making as much art as possible from all my experiences. And a lot of it is from, being really present with you guys. It's like, with women, that you try and do everything. It's like you start this career and then you become a mom and a caregiver, homemaker, wife. You kind of have to step out of line. Like you've been trying to get this place and then you're like there. And then you're like, oh wait, hold my place. I'll be right back, and then 15 years go by and no one held your place. They should give artists a break. It's always like young artists and all this stuff. It's like 50-year-old women. We need the support. Because there's another thing about, like, if women talk about being mothers, it's like quilts and stuff or something. It's always put in this women's category, like women's art. Like, women have always had to support women, and there's like women-made gallery, like art by women. Like, we were always categorized. None of my mysteries were solved. Like, I thought, okay, I'm going to be a mother and all the mysteries are going to be solved. No, there's just more mystery. It's like so crazy. You think about how I got here, how you got here. It's like this cosmic, and then all of a sudden there's like this life, and that's who you are and why we're here. So I think that's really a big element to my art. It's that mystery.